Okay. Where do we leave off? Mamash at the bottom, right?
We're at the top.
Yeah.
Boy
So when we
Rava.
finish this up, yeah. Kuf Lamed Beis. Thank you. Kuf Lamed Beis Amid Aleph. Yeah. So Boy Rava. So well, let's just backtrack a little bit. We need a little bit of a chazara from the yesterday's Gemara. So we had this. The shaila from the Gemara was somebody writes all his belongings over to his wife. So is that considered when you write all your belongings over to your wife? So is a guy would a sane person do that or not? Right. So why would he do it? So the reason to do it is because like this, it'll cause his kids to have to respect his wife after he dies because she's in control. Whoever's in control of the money gets all the respect. I think everybody could understand that one. All right. Same thing if he gives it over to the older brother. So he didn't mean to give. So what's an nafkamina? Did he mean to give the wife all these belongings, or did he just mean that she's an apotropos? So we said that on the wife it's an apotropos, right? And we said to the older son is also for sure apotropos, meaning it doesn't become his. And then we said even the younger son is also even a young son in the crib is an apotropos. But then we had a shaila at the end. We had if he gave it to a daughter instead of giving it to sons, or he gave it to his wife instead of giving it to his brothers, and then his wife instead of his sons from a different marriage. So there we had a machlokes. All right, so there was a machlokes. Which one? If did he mean his apotropos? Did he not mean his apotropos? Fine. That was the Gemara. Now the Gemara wants to. Now the Gemara is going to ask the same way it asked on the previous Gemara, which is let's just backtrack a little bit more. Rabbi Yochanan, not Ben Nuri, Rabbi Yochanan Ben Broika, he held that you're allowed to adjust the inheritance. As long as it's going to people that are supposed to inherit, you're allowed to adjust it. So we said, does the Gemara's original shaila was, does that work for somebody who's dying specifically, or is even if a healthy guy decides to just give it over, does that work? That was the shaila. So Gemara's asking the exact same shaila here. When the husband is giving over to the wife or to the son or whatever, all those five scenarios, does he mean that's only when he gives it over before death, or even when he gives it over when he's healthy? That's the Gemara's shaila. So boy Rava, but bari heich. What about a healthy person? If the husband is healthy, right? So what's the din? Does he say these same dinim or not? So b'shchiv meira huden. We're on the top line of kuf lama beis manal. So b'shchiv meira huden ichalei dilishtamen mila. It's a shchiv meira. So he's making his wife. He's putting his wife up to it because he wants her to be respected. Avabari, but if when he's healthy, he's alive. So what does he need? He'll make sure that there's respect for the wife, right? Aydilma, or we say bari nami nichale, or we say no for a bari is also good. Dilishtaman mila mahashta, because he wants his wife to be listened to even from now. So Tashema, so now the Gemara has a shtickle, a long proof. So Tashema hakaisid peiros nechasav leishtai. If a guy writes over the peiros of his belongings to his wife, right? Meaning there's only peiros, not karka. Goiva ksubasa min karka. Then she collects her ksuba from the karka, right? Now this what we're going to get into tonight and for the rest of the daf. And it's something I always, this is one of these things that I have a PTSD, I guess, from, I don't know, elementary school, high school, whatever school, right? But it's something called a shibud, meaning when a man marries, he promises his wife the ksuba, right? And any any sale of those properties that happen after the ksuba is already it has to go to her first. Meaning, so if he gets married today and then tomorrow he sells his land and then he dies and he's got no money to pay for the ksuba, then she gets first dibs on that money. Right? That's called a shibud or a lien. That's how you call it, right? So here, let's say he gives over. That's what we're going to be talking about now, where the husband gives over stuff to the wife when she's alive, when he's alive. Doesn't mean that he's giving it to her, and that's instead of the ksuba, and now there's no lien on the ksuba, or is that not? Is it just he's giving her presents? So tashema hakosa peiros nechasav lishte. Let's say he gives over fruit.
How would you write? How would you give over fruit through a star?
Doesn't
a star only work for karka?
I maybe as matana it works. No, does it work on matana?
I don't know.
I'm not
sure. Normal
sure.
metaltlin cannot be kind of through a star. That's what I'm asking.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure. But anyway, so he gives over the Paris to his wife. Goiva ksubasim in a karka. She's still allowed to get her ksuba from any karka that he sells. Right? Meaning she's not giving up her rights to her lien on the land just because he gave karka. But let's say he gave her like a sharecropper. He gave her either half, a third, or a quarter of his property. Then she does collect the ksuba from the rest. Right? Meaning she's allowed to. Right? But even then, the chiddush is even though she's getting karka, she could still have a lien on the ksuba. But kosav kol nechasav lishta. But if he wrote all of his properties to his wife, yotzel of shtar chayv, and then a shtar chayv came out that he owes money, right? Eliezer Oimer tikra matanasa v'tamid al ksubasa. So it gets torn up. Her matana gets torn up, and then she gets the ksuba. Meaning, what would this lady rather have? This is the question. She was given all of her husband's properties when he's alive. Is she now forfeiting? Does she realize, oh, that's a lot of stuff that I'm going to give my husband, therefore she's forfeiting her rights to her ksuba? All right. Or do we say, no, she's not? So we say once he gives all the property, then she forfeits the rights. So, okay, so now what happens if she wants to get the ksuba? So now, again, all this sugya is if there's money, if he has the money to pay the ksuba, he has to pay the ksuba. What we're talking about here is that he doesn't have the money to pay ksuba. Since he doesn't have the money to pay the ksuba, so can she go to the lien holders and get it from them? Right? So Rebbe Eliezer holds she never gave up the lien. So, but she can't have both. She's not getting the present and the lien. So Mamela, she's got to have one or the other. So basically what you do is you tear up the present and she gets the ksuba. Tikra ksubasa v'tamina matanaza. Chacham said the opposite. She's totally shafted. The ksuba gets torn up because she already got it, and the matana stays, right? And Mamela, since the matana stays, the matana came after the loan, after the husband borrowed money. V'nimtza karachas mikan mikan, and therefore we find that she's bald. Literally means bald from here and from here, meaning she loses out. She loses out both sides, right? She's out from both sides. Va'amar, meaning because we don't let her have her lien on the ksuba, and the matana came after the loan, so therefore the person who lent the husband gets his rights first. So she ends up holding the bag or not holding the bag. She ends up with nothing. It happened once with my daughter, my sister's, as it say, Akala is a daughter-in-law. But my sister's daughter, which is my daughter-in-law, meaning basically his son married a first cousin. Reb Henoch, welcome back, Reb Henoch. We started early tonight because I'm in the middle of my niece's Sheva Brachas, so we did Mishnayos. We did one Mishnah already. So if you're looking what we're holding, we're in the middle of the Daf Yomi. So whatever.
What did she do wrong that she loses out on both? Did she do anything wrong?
She made a bad investment. She made a bad investment.
She made a bad investment. The husband gave her the properties. No.
Yeah, but she gambled. She gambled wrong.
What should she have done? Said, no, I don't want your properties?
What?
She should have said, no, I don't want the properties. The husband gives her the properties. So she should say,
Yeah.
no, I don't want them. I'd rather the ksuba.
She doesn't have a choice. Once she accepted the presents, basically what the Chacham is saying is once she accepted the presents from her husband, that's it. It's hers.
So I'm saying, so what should she have? Why did she get penalized now and that she gets nothing?
Because that's the way it works. That's just the way it works.
But she
She's
didn't do anything
Michael.
wrong.
She's not penalized. She's Michael.
She ends up with nothing. She's mochel on that. She's okay with that.
She's not ending up with
She's not
nothing.
Michael. She doesn't have a choice.
No, she is Michael. That's the way the Shram explained
It's
it.
Michael, but I don't think she has an option. She could have been
Well,
Michael
she
the
could have
present when she
refused
got
it.
it. She could have refused it initially. Once she
Right.
accepted it,
So I'm
Right.
saying,
Because
when the
she's
husband gives her
Michael.
the properties, she should say, no, I don't want them.
well, she has to know. Well, I imagine her financial advisors will tell her, well, are these properties worth more than a potential ksuba?
Okay.
She can
I
still
think.
collect her ksuba. It just can't be from these properties.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Right. We said that before. We got to reiterate it. If the husband has cash on hand, he has to give her the ksuba. That's not a question. Right, David? She's not losing her ksuba if the husband has money. We're talking about in the case where the husband has no money. So can you go collect it from the lien holders? That we're saying no. Right, that's what's going again. Let's make that clear. If the husband has money for the ksuba, he has to give her the money. That's part of the unless he makes a deal. I think unless I'm wrong on this, but that's why I understood it. Right. Anyways, so yeah, so Obama, so then my severe dover bebasa choisikal. He says it happened with my daughter, my sister's daughter, who was my daughter-in-law, meaning his son married his sister's daughter. The first cousins married each other. And the Maisa came from the Chachamim v'amru tikra ksubasa. She tears up her ksuba, v'tamed al matanasa, and she gets a matana, which means she lost her ksuba and her matana is there and was already and the money was already in debt on a lien before her matana even was given. V'nimtza karachas mikan mikan, so she's messed up from both ends. So taima the yotzel of shtar chayv. So now this whole reason, the whole reason why she loses out from the ksuba is because there was a shtar chayv. Lo yotzel of shtar chayv. But let's say there was no shtar chayv, and the husband gave the wife when he was perfectly healthy. He gave her all his belongings. Kanya. So then he's kind of. So with what? So didn't we say that you can't? He's only making an apotropos. If it's a shchimera, we said if he gives everything away to his wife, she's an apotropos. It doesn't go to her. So then how come here we're saying it does go to her? So it must be bari. It must be that it's by a bari, which then answers our question. Again, our question was this din that when a husband gives all his belongings to his wife, did he mean that he's giving it to her as a matana, or is she just as an apotropos? So we said when he's dying, it must be just apotropos. But then that doesn't fit into this whole long brisa. So therefore, it must be that by the brisa, it's talking about when he's not dying, and therefore it's hers. Right? La'ilam, so then the third wide line down, so says the Gemara says, no, not true. La'ilam b'shchimira. It's really talking about a shchimira. V'ravavira mukila bekulu. Ravina mukula be'ishtai arusa ve'ishtai grusha. Rav Avira is going to say, this is talking about, that's how we started off the daf, from the bottom of yesterday's daf, those 5 situations. Was it 5? I think it was 5, right? Right? That there are times where he holds that it would go as a present. And that's where it was he's giving it to his engaged wife, or she's divorced, or his daughter when he has sons, or his wife when he has brothers, or what was the other one? His wife when he has sons from a different marriage. Right? So then there we said that that's talking about the matanas given to her. So that's what this price is talking about also. It's not talking about your standard case. And Ravina says it's Ishtay Arusa and Ishtay Grusha, because those are the 2 cases where he says it works as a present. Fine. Amar Rav Yosef ben Yomi, Amar Rav Nachman, halacha tikra ksubasa v'tamid amatanasa. The ksuba gets torn up, and it's tamid amatanasa. V'nimtzas karachas mikan mikan, and therefore she loses from both sides. The Memra, so the Gemara says, meaning Rav Nachman is paskening that she loses. All right, so now we get to Gershon's kasha from a few days ago. Finally, the Memra, the loyals of Rav Nachman basar umdana. So does Rav Nachman say that we don't go with an umdana? Umdana means umdana is not just a yeshivish word; it's actually a word in the Gemara. And umdana means now I should know how to teach it. No, and umdana means the situation. Maybe a situation. I don't know if that's
Evaluation,
an
Assessment.
assessment. Okay, an assess meaning you
assessment
have to,
of the situation.
meaning check out the situation and decide on what the person means based on what's going on. Right? So let's see. Remember, the Rav Nachman doesn't take the situation into account of what's going on. Let's say somebody's son goes overseas and he heard that his son died. So he heard his son died, it was his only son. So he decided to give away his Yerusha. And then came his son. Came back, Baruch Hashem, his son came back. So matana is a matana. Tanakama says his matana is a matana, even though he was only giving it because he assumed his son was dead. But Lamaisa, his son was alive. Had he known that his son was alive, like cousin, he would never have given it over. Rav Nachman holds on lachas like Reb Shimon ben Menashe. So what do you see? That Reb Nachman does take this situation into it, because if you take it on at face value, the guy gave away his stuff, right? The guy gave away his stuff. So, but Rav Nachman's paskening like Reb Shimon ben Menashe, who says that he didn't mean to give it away. All right, so then the same thing in this case. The wife would never have meant, the wife, like David is saying, the wife would never have accepted this present if she knew she's going to get shafted on her ksuba, right? If why don't we say that the situation tells us that it's not like that? So the Gemara says, Shani Hasam, the Nichala, the Tepakala Kala. Now this is also a little peek into how it worked back then. There, by accepting the present, she's very happy that the rumor will go out about her, the kasvinu nahala lahanu nechasim, that her husband gave over all his properties to her. Right? Meaning, it's a chashivas. If a husband holds a wife in such high regard that he's willing to give her all his properties, then that's like a big chashiva. So that costs nothing free in this world. So Mamela, she got something out of this, and she was very happy with it. So now you can't renege on that. You can't renege on that. Meaning that in the case where the father gave it away, he gave it away. He didn't have a choice. There was nothing to be gained from him giving it away. Which I'm not so sure, because let's say he donated a huge building, right? And he got a lot of hanon, a lot of covered. So maybe that's also considered something selfish. Maybe he shouldn't backtrack. I don't know. Whatever. But anyways, I'm not sure how that works, but that's what we're saying, that she got a hana from accepting her husband's properties, and the cost of that hana is that she's not getting a ksuba. Fine. It's not awesome. Now we go into a different halacha, and then we're going to have the same shaila. Does it apply only to a shchivmeira or also to somebody who's alive and well? So let's say a guy gives over all his property to his sons because of leishtoi karka kolshu, and he gives his wife a little bit of karka. All right? Of the ksubasa, then she loses her ksuba. Because, so, okay, what says the Gemara immediately? Yes. So he gave all of his belongings to his kids, and then his wife got a little bit, and she loses the ksuba. So mashum dekasav lekarka kolshu of the ksubasa. Because he wrote her the karka kolshu, she lost the ksuba. So Marav Mezakalen al Yada. It's talking about where there are going to be three terutzim here why she loses a ksuba. The first terutz is, according to Rav, her sons did a zikui with her, through her, meaning they had to use a pen or a handkerchief to make the kinyan, right? But we've had that many times. They used her handkerchief or her pen wherever it is. So Mamela, if she did that, that means she is happy of with the land going to her kids, and she doesn't want any liens on that land. She's happy with it. She has what they gave her.
Just because they used her pen?
Yes, means that she agrees to this. She agrees to this agreement. Again, I can't.
I'm saying
Again,
nobody
I
else
keep
had a
saying this
pen, so
every.
they said you have a pen. Sure, use my pen. Now she's that means she agreed to everything. Made her
Uh,
smart. It made her smarter.
uh, I don't think they made her smarter. I think it's just that. Well,
Her smarter that she understands. Now she understands what's going on in the agreement. Now she understands it more. Whereas if it wasn't her pen, so maybe she didn't really agree to it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, meaning she showed. Yeah, that's yeah, yeah. That's basically it. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Well, let's see the next two tirutzim. So
Well,
Benzakalin
what
was
does it
Yom
have to do
base.
with smarter? I don't understand that.
He's not. He
If
doesn't. He
it's
didn't
not
mean. I don't
if
think.
it's not her pen, then it's done without her choice. She's the first Balchayv. She gets it.
No, not smarter, but that she understands what's going on more. If it's her pen, now she really understands what's going on. And if it's not
What do
her
you mean
pen,
she
maybe
understands what's going on? Her husband tells her, "Can we use your pen to make a kinyan for the sons that I won't own anything anymore?" Well, yeah, by default, she's not going to have a ksuba.
so now that we're using her pen, she understands that and agrees to it. And if it wasn't her pen, maybe she didn't agree to it.
Yeah, what's understanding to do with it? Everyone knows what's going on. The husband's giving all his nechasim away to his sons. He's not going to own anything now. Everyone understands that there's no ksuba now. If she agrees to it, the second she hands over her pen, she's agreed to it.
Yeah.
The default
I
position
think
of that is
he's
she's
thinking.
ksuba.
I think David is thinking that
Oh,
you asked to
Shkoyach.
borrow his pen, and he's borrowing it. Gershon is saying that you used the pen as a kinyan to pick it up, like when he
No,
sells
by
the
Gemara
using it,
says.
by using it as a kinyan, by using it as
right.
a
David, I
kinyan.
think David thinks he's using you borrow the pen, and you use the pen on the documents because she gave
No,
her pen.
no, I understand using it as a Kenyan.
She's handing over her
Right.
pen so that the kids can do a kinyan with it. That her husband will no longer own anything. What is she going to claim from? Well, what could she possibly be thinking?
Yeah.
Also, it's literally written in a star. I'm being mocked into her this little whatever about the field, and my sons get the other stuff. It's not like there's nobody's being
Right.
duped here. And then she's like, yeah, not only I'm gonna get this little piece of land, and by the way, you could use my stuff. Rosh Ram says there's two things going on here. She's actively participating in the Kenyan, and she's getting something.
Well, she's only getting a little bit.
It doesn't
but
matter. She's doing.
But she's
two
happy
different
about her
things.
sons. She's happy about her sons.
Right? But if you didn't have both things, it wouldn't work.
Right.
That's the way Rav holds, at least.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta go because this Shevrach is starting to pick up, but I gotta move. But anyways, so I'm sorry, but anyways, so Rav, there's gonna be three terutzim of why it is that she loses her ksuba. So Rav says it's talking about where they used her, what do you call it? They used her pen. Let's call it her pen. Shmuel Amar b'mechalek lefanev v'hishesakas. It's talking about where they split the whole thing up in front of her, and she's just sat there quiet, which l'chayra is a bigger chiddush than the pen, right? L'chayra, it's a much bigger chiddush than the pen because she didn't even do anything. The pen, at least she did. She was active. Here it was nothing, right? Rabbi Yosef Reb Chanina Amar ba'aymer latli karka zu b'ksubase. Right, the husband told her, take this land for your ksuba, right? So by her not, she didn't complain. So Mamela, she loses out, right? So
Why
that's
don't we say that in such a scenario, she just assumes that he's paying part of her ksuba, which everyone would agree is considered that you didn't pay off the rest of the ksuba.
Yeah. Well, I hear what you're saying, but yeah, but here, this last one, it's, oh yeah, I don't know. She didn't complain. So Mamela, she said,
because she thought in this scenario, you can say she thought he was just paying part of her ksuba. That's all. If you pay part of your ksuba while you're alive, you don't lose out on the rest of the shibud.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, so those are the three pshatim. Umikulik, then on to Beis now. Umikulik suba shanokan. These are all this has to be from the leniencies of a ksuba. Right? Why? Because you would never say this. Any other Baal Chayv, right, is not going to say, you're not going to say this. Oh, she's losing her lien, right? Never, and a Baal Chayv never gives up his lien. Well, you did another deal with me, so therefore I'm losing my lien, right? Unless somebody said beferish, by the way, you're taking this money, you're not going to have a lien anymore. Then yes, but why we're going to say in an ksuba, that doesn't go. Fine, but either way, we slug up all this anyways, because Tanan. So we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi, I'm Rabbi Yossi, Kibla Aleh, if she was makabel on herself, meaning if let's say she taka was makabelit. See, the first case there was three terutzim, but she never beferish was makabelit, right? But let's say she was makabelit. Aval pisha like kosavla, then even if he didn't write that he gave it over to her, of the ksubasa, she loses her ksuba, right? Mechlal, that's Rabbi Yossi she. The Mechlal the Tanakama Sabra Ksiba the Kabbalah Bay. But that's mashma that according to Tanakama, she needs to have a Ksiva and a Kabbalah. Meaning by Rabbi Yossi saying that all she needs is a Kabbalah, not a Ksiva. So then that means that the Tanakama must hold she needs a Ksiva and a Kabbalah, which the last three Terutzim we just said, none of them had a Ksiva or a Kabbalah. Well, maybe a Kabbalah, but not an official one. But Chita Makula Rabbi Yossi. If you're going to say that the whole thing is Rabbi Yossi, but Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Aimosai, when is it Shaisa Sham Bekibla Leh? That's when she was there and she was makabel on herself. But if she was at this transaction and she wasn't makabel on herself, Kibla Leh, she was makabel on herself and she wasn't there, of the ksuba, so she does not lose her ksuba. So you see that none of the three terutzim could fit according to the chachamim. So to yufta the kulu, to yufta, and it's taka. We slug up all of them. So therefore, a woman will not lose her ksuba unless she beferish accepts on herself to lose the ksuba. So Amarle Rav Nachman. So Rav said to Rav Nachman, Harav, Hosh, so Harav, Hashmuel, Harav Yasrach. Those are the three terutzim. Mar my svirale. What do you hold? Meaning, Rav, Shmuel, and Rabbi Yosef each had their pshat, where either again Rav said that they used her pen or her handkerchief, and Shmuel had said that she was there and she saw and she was quiet. Rabbi Yosef Chanina said the husband said beferish to her. So Amarle Shani, he says, I say kivan sha'asa shutaf ben abonim. Since the husband made her a shutuf of the ksubasa, she loses her ksuba. Right? Right? So he's saying as once she becomes a shutuf to the sons, then she loses a ksuba. Itmanami Amar Rabbi Yosef Amar Rabbi Nachman kiban shasa shutuf ben habanim. Since she became a shutuf between the kids of the ksubasa, she loses her ksuba. Fine. So now on this whole thing, when he's giving it away to his kids, now the same shaila does this only work by a shchimera or does it work even by a healthy person? Hey, what about a healthy person? Me amrina b'shchimera hu diyada. Talking about a shchimera diyada delesle, because she knows that he doesn't have anything else. He's dying. She knows he doesn't have any other properties coming through, and memela v'kamachla, and then she's Michael. So meaning she's very happy to get whatever she can get. Al bari sabra hadakani, but by a bari, she thinks the reason why she's not complaining about this whole scenario is because she's saying that he's gonna get more property, and I'm not giving up on this lien. Idoma hashtamiya lesle. But we say no. Right now he doesn't have any property, and she should have made a machana. She didn't make a machana. She loses it out. So the same again, the same Shiloh. There's all these coolers, shenanigans. I don't know what you want to call them. All these things that the husband's doing. Does that apply only when he's about to die? Because we say, her back is against the wall. There's not much she could do, so she's Michael. Or do we say no? This would even apply in the middle. So teku, meaning even when he's regularly alive. So we say teku. Fine. Now the Gemara brings similar cases. We'll do the first one and then we'll stop. Ahu damar lahu. A guy says he said to people that were there, he was dying. Yeah. Palga lebras, upaga lebras. I'm giving half of my money to my daughter, half of my money to the other daughter, but tilsa leitus paperi, and a third of the leitus means my wife, and a third of the fruit is going to the wife. So he didn't give the wife any karka, he only gave the wife fruit. Ikla Rav Nachman l'Sura, Rav Nachman traveled to Sura, Allah gabe Rav Chisda, and he went to see Rav Chisda. Amarle, he said to him, Ki agav namai. What's the case here? Meaning, is a woman accepting fruit, not karka? She just accepted fruit. Is that enough for her to waive her lien on for her ksuba? So Amarle, Hachi Amar Shmuel, he said to him, this is what Shmuel said, Afilu lehiknala ella dekel echad leperosav. Even if he only gives one tree, one date tree or palm tree, for its fruit, she loses her ksuba. Right? Meaning, even if he gives all the karka to other people and all she gets is one tree, she loses her ksuba. So of the ksubasa. So same thing with fruit too. So Amar Le, Amar Damar Shmuel Hasam the Aknala Begufa Da'ara. Shmuel only said it when she actually got land. Hacha Peirahu, here it's only Peiris. So does Shmuel really say that for Peiris she's giving up a lien for a bunch of apples? She's giving up a lien on her ksuba. So Amalei metatali kamet. Oh, you were talking about metatali and things that are movable. Metatali vade like I mean, I definitely didn't say it by metatali. Meaning, I would not paskin this by metatali. No sane person is ever going to give up a lien on their ksuba for a bushel of apples. Right? Nobody's ever going to do that. So Memela, it's Memela, he said she is not losing her ksuba. So basically what we're saying is that she loses her ksuba for karka, she does not lose her ksuba for peiros.
Those people never learned Chumash. What about
Why are you
giving up a
saying that?
birthright for some soup?
I hear.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I hear that. Anyways, okay, we'll stop over here. Appreciate you tuning in early. Let me say, Tillam.
Tomorrow's regular.
Tomorrow should be regular, yes.